Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome this week's episode of Talks with TVBOO. Welcome this week's episode of the podcast. Hope you're having a great week, and I really appreciate y'all being here, man. I really do, because I got a great show for y'all today with a great guest, very interesting guest. Before I introduce this interesting guest, got to let you know about some shows I got coming up. This Friday, the 13th, I will be in Newport, Kentucky at the Thompson House, headlining the Interstellar Music Festival's after party. It's basically like in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's right there on the border. Newport, Cincinnati, almost the same damn town. So come out to that. And then Saturday the 14th, I will be in Shell, Wyoming at Mad Mountain Music Festival. We'll be headlining that evening. I ain't never been to Wyoming. I'm excited to be there. I've heard it's beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to that. So if you're in the area, come to the show. Come say what's up. If you're going, man, I'd love to say hey, love to chat for a minute. But my guest this week is a very talented individual, very talented, a name that I've been seeing pop up a whole lot, and he's taken a route in this music game that not a lot of people take. When I say music game, I really mean the electronic game, okay? Because in music game, people might take this route that he's going, but he said, nah, man, I'm going to do it in the electronic world, in the EDM universe, okay? He is a pianist, which is a hilarious term. I don't know why they made up that term back in the day. It just don't make sense, dude. A pianist sounds like somebody who jerks off all day, but he is a pianist. That means he plays the piano, if you don't know what that means, okay? And he's been a guy who's been making a lot of noise in the scene. I've been seeing his name more and more. He's got collabs coming up with some really big people, and I'm like, you know what, dude? I like this guy's vibe. I like what he's doing. Let me get him on the show. Let me get to know him a little bit, okay? He's got a new single dropping tomorrow on Wakan with Lucid, and also has a single dropping tomorrow, 2 singles one day, schedule nightmare, but dude, it happens. He's got a collab with Lucid coming out tomorrow, also a collab with Closey coming out tomorrow. And I'm a huge fan of both of those artists, both amazing producers, so I can't wait to hear that track. Y'all make sure to go check it out. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Leech.
Come here, girl, is that ass fat? Let me take my tongue and go around your dirt track. I met a girl and her booty tastes like strawberries. I swear to God, this could be the one that I marry. Hey, hey, and she's so different. I made that from behind. I met a girl and her booty tastes like strawberries.
Mr. Jason Leech, man.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Has anybody ever told you look like Dirt Monkey's long lost brother? You literally look like Dirt Monkey's long lost brother, man. It's kind of wild.
I listen to Dirt Monkey, but I don't know what he looks like.
He looks like you, but like, a little bit older.
Just in the mirror. Huh.
Instead of flipping keys, he's flipping boards. You know what I mean?
You know what kind of comments I see, and I mean, I'm not even like, this isn't like braggadocious. Maybe it doesn't even sound braggadocious, but I've gotten 20 or 30 comments about how I look like Tom Cruise, and I don't see it.
Tom fucking Cruise, dude? That's what's up. That's what's up. I have people tell me I look like Matt Damon at times.
Oh, I see it.
I don't, dude. I just look like Vector.
You know what? I think we see ourselves different when we look at, pictures of ourselves or in the mirror.
Yeah, dude. I just want to see you in many different ways. Is where, I want to see you in your most vulnerable, from your strongest to your lowest points. Just a whole lifelong memories of each other. That we can hopefully get in this hour podcast.
I'm always vulnerable, bro.
Yeah, dude. Well, dude, check it. So you're a pianist, okay? Which is just a hilarious term. I don't,
It sounds dirty.
It sounds like, I feel like the person who made it was a pervert, but like it's possible that he wasn't, and then over the years it just got. Because I would call it a pianoist. Like nowadays I would think they would name it that, right?
Yes.
A pianoist.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, but a pianist.
Yeah, there was some really creepy dude like in the 1700s, just like a scrangly, and he just decided to call it a pianist.
Yeah, it's like whenever someone's like, I'm a carpenter, I'm like, oh hell yeah, you do carpet shit,
You're into carpets.
Yeah, you lay down carpets, man. He's like, no, dude, I do a lot of. It's like, what do they call it? Like, what is woodworking? It's like bush work or something like that, where you're working with trees. It's like, this doesn't make any sense. But Anyway, dude, where I was going with that question, dude.
Yes.
How long of a reach do you got, right? Because I played the piano for like a good, like solid year and a half, right? And I just remember trying to get a whole octave in the beginning, and then now it was nothing. And it's like over time, your fingers, you're able to just get your fingers further away from each other. Yeah, you probably got some pretty good reach, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, there's something about like the hands. Like my piano teacher when I started young was like, "Oh, you got some good piano hands," because I have weird like alien fingers. You know, they're like really long and slender. And he complimented them about like my reaches, even from a young age. Like I could, you know, do different chords, but like there is something about like stretching out your hand and hitting those bigger chords and longer reaches. And that just takes time for practice.
Yeah. How much can you do, dude? You can hit like 14 semitones. How far can you go? Hit like an octave and a half?
C to E, octave and 2 keys.
That's still pretty impressive. I can just hit the octave, and that's still a stretch. You know what
I mean, like my favorite pianist, Rachmaninoff. He's an old classical composer, and he's this big Russian. He made these crazy, classical pieces, and he can reach from a C to an A. It's a 13th. So you can do a C to a C, which is an octave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He goes C to C, D, E, F, G, A.
That's insane.
Yes.
Where the fuck does his like ring finger sit then, dude? Like if his ring finger's on C, like he can do a whole octave with his fucking ring finger. That shit's fucking wild, man.
I have no idea. Yeah, it should, but like that, it doesn't make or break the piano player because, like Elton John has small hands. Elton John has really small hands, but he just rips it. He knows how to use them.
So fuck my ass. Oh, so your favorite pianist was a Russian guy, right? You said.
Yeah, Sergei Rachmaninoff. Yeah,
rock and roll. Yeah, my favorite pianists are BBCs. But so how long you been playing the piano for?
My parents got me on piano lessons in first grade. However old you are in first grade. What is that, like 6 or 7?
8. They're like 8, I think. Or yeah, 7 or 8.
I don't know.
Like that.
Yeah, but and I stuck with it, and I had the same piano teacher all the way through high school, and then even in college did some piano lessons. So just pretty much my whole life.
Damn, that's wild. Same mentor, same instructor.
Yeah.
There was never a point where like it was like, okay, I've taught you all I know.
No, man. Oh my gosh, dude. Piano goes so deep. I haven't scratched the surface of it, and I've kind of even like gotten away from like classical music, but it is so complex. Like I dabbled in it, you know what I mean? Like I've learned some classical pieces. Like I learned like the whole Moonlight Sonata and memorized it. You know what I mean? All right, that's one. Now you can imagine how many amazing classical pieces there are. You know what I mean? But like that took a year. So just there's so much to learn, so much out there. There's no one that's like mastered the piano. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I totally get that, but like I feel like there's still a point to where each teacher. Someone's going to teach you different stuff. So to be with one person the entire time is kind of wild, right? Because I had a drum teacher for like a good 3.5 years when I was younger. I've had many mentors, but that was like the one teacher I had. And there got to a point where we would be doing our lessons, and he's like, "Man, I've taught you everything I know at this point." You know what I mean? Where like, was there ever a point where you were coming in and kind of teaching your teacher some shit?
No, I mean. Like there's the first grade to high school teacher, shout out Gibby Rockwell, and he really taught me, and he knew my strengths and weaknesses, and he taught me, and he's one of those piano teachers that was like didn't like the new music. He's like bleh, like rap music, like he was so not into that idea. He was which I like. I didn't want somebody's like, you can do whatever you want, you know. And here, let's learn a new pop song. I liked that. You know what I mean? And that was his thing, and he really taught me the hardcore fundamentals, technicalities, boring drills, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, over and over again. Just like, I hate, but like, it was like, you know, just the training, like, you know, you're in it, you know what I mean? Like the dirty stuff, like the not fun, just repetitive stuff. And he really pushed that, and that's the technicality part that really helped me out. And that's what kind of that allowed me to that. Okay, now I got that. Now I can play with those stuff. Now I can do EDM, but use that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that, dude. Yeah, those scales can be boring as fuck, dude, but like you gotta learn them. You know what I mean? You gotta learn them. Dude, I remember I had a guitar teacher for a little bit, and god damn, like drum lessons were awesome, right? Drum lessons, you go in there, you're like, oh, dude, Travis, listen to this Travis Barker. Let's fucking play it, and you're like jamming out. Yeah, you're having a blast, dude. I'd go to guitar lessons, and I'd be like, bought a new guitar and amp. I'm like, dude, check out this band. He's like, no, we're gonna learn fucking church music, and I'm like, no. Yes. It was such a vibe change. So, and I remember whenever I was like learning the piano, I had to be super disciplined. I never practiced scales more than ever than when it be piano. So it's crazy, like that you say that. Was there ever a point with this teacher that y'all had a little bit of fun, that y'all, you know, maybe got a Migos track and y'all just fucking jammed on it? I don't know.
Okay, well, this is like early 2000s and 90s, so we didn't have.
Okay, Sierra. Okay.
I don't think the Migos were born in the 90s, but no. But you know what? I didn't realize what it was like, but now that I'm older, I see it. It's the Karate Kid. It's that he was like, why do I have to, you know, wax on, wax off? It was that boring, repetitive stuff.
Yeah, it is, man. So at what point were you like? So actually, take it back for a second. You started in the first grade. Were your parents someone who made you do it? Because I hear this all the time from other people, like, oh, my parents made me do piano lessons when I was a kid. Like, was that a thing that they just made you do? Did you have any interest in it before, or they just were like, you know what, we're just gonna make you do this?
Okay. It was no. My parents were awesome. My parents were like, soccer, karate, basketball. They threw all this stuff at me. Piano, you know what I mean? And piano stuck. And I ran with it. And they're like, all right, he likes piano. And they just started, and they funded my lessons for piano lessons, which is exactly how parents should be. It's like, here's what we can offer you. You know, let's see here's what sticks. Sucked at basketball, sucked at karate, sucked at soccer, but piano stuck. And they're like, all right, we're gonna run with it. And they just funded my piano lessons, and it's perfect. It's exactly what I needed.
I feel you, dude. If I'm ever a parent one day, I'm gonna do the same thing, dude. I'm gonna lay it down and be like, here's a football, here's a guitar, here's some drugs. Which one do you want to do? You know,
they're always gonna go for drugs, man. Always.
Maybe they might grab a football and just fucking throw a touchdown real quick and be like, damn, I got the next Drew Brees on this motherfucker, man. You never know, dude.
Football and drugs, which is the awesome combination.
Yeah, just do the drugs until they start drug testing you. He's at the age of 6, just juiced up, fucking tackling over. Wait, I wonder if there's been any type of study on like giving young children steroids. I hope not, but like, what does it do to them? Are they just fucking jacked? I'm curious. Just like imagine like an 8-year-old meathead that's just there to fuck shit up, and he's like, I'm here to get touchdown and pussy, and you're like, oh my god, dude.
It's like PE class, and like just like girls are on his team, like they want to play, but he's like into winning.
Yeah. He's just super competitive. That shit would be funny.
Samantha, I need you to, you know.
Hey, man, listen, Saturday Night Live, y'all can go ahead and take this skit, man. It's a good idea.
Yeah, take it.
But yeah, so cool. That's cool. That's fucking awesome of your parents, man. I hear so many stories of people who are just like, yeah, my parents made me get piano lessons when I was a kid. And I did this and that. All right. So at what point were you like, okay, I'm gonna try to turn this into a music project? Because you're doing all these lessons for years and years. Was there any idea to where it's like, hey, I'm gonna do this full time. I'm gonna try to make a living doing this, or was it always just a hobby and then someday it just clicked? Like, what was that like for you? When did this happen?
It was always a hobby. It was always just like something. It was always like piano lessons were just something you did, and then there was real life. And it kind of corny, but I saw School of Rock, the movie School of Rock, and I was taken away by it because it introduced me to rock music. I was really young when it came out, you know what I mean? And I was like, wait a minute, there's like these rock and roll bands, and there's keyboardists in these rock and roll bands. I remember it like getting that soundtrack, and like it introduced me to like Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and the Doors and stuff. I was like, oh, wait a minute, there are people that play keyboards for a living, and I already know how to play keyboards, and I enjoy this music, and that really planted a seed. You know what I mean? It really opened my mind to like the possibility of rock bands, because up until then I was listening to the radio. And it's like you don't really hear keyboards, or if you did, you didn't know it.
Just the chords and stuff, yeah.
Right. I was like, I thought that music was like, Backstreet Boys.
Hey, that is music, bro. That is music, okay?
Sorry.
Okay, put some respect on them boys.
I should have. But I didn't realize how like I was like, oh, wait a minute, like there's a keyboardist, and like he contributes, and there's keyboardists that's what they did. I was like, people get paid to do this, something I thought this was something that was for fun, and then you have to go get a job with like a briefcase, and but like it really opened my mind to like the idea of a band. And I was really into rock bands. I was really into classic rock. Well, that's like what my parents listened to, And then I heard like EDM, and was like, wait a minute, the lead singer of these songs are synth sounds. Like the drop can be played on a keyboard, and just from there, it just like really took me away.
So you never went through like a phase of like playing in bands or getting dudes together and jamming around like that?
No, I had a huge, all through high school, played in the emo bands, played in the rock bands, and at college played in the Fish cover bands, the jam bands, you know what I mean? And I loved that. I knew that I had so much fun in the bands that I played in, and I loved, especially in college. I played in a band called the Manor and Friends, and we played in West Virginia University in Morgantown, and we had so many fun shows, so many good shows, just rocking out, in college. And I realized that there was a way to do this as a solo project with keyboards because of EDM, electronic music. I was like, wait a minute, these songs don't have guitar solos and lead singers. They are melodic tracks that could be played on keys. You know what I mean? And that's where I went for it.
Yeah, nice, dude. What's up? You said you played in emo bands, dude. What were y'all playing? Were y'all covering stuff? Were y'all writing your own shit? Like, what was y'all?
Oh yeah.
You were playing. It was Welcome to Black Parade. You were hitting them with that.
Dude, that was me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, and yeah, everyone knew that first G note too. Ting. Taking Back Sunday. Like so there was, like I said, like the classic rock really like opened my mind to like, oh, there's rock bands and everything. But then I was in like, I remember like a defining moment of being in, I had like a cool cousin, an older cousin, and we got in his car and he put on Story of the Year. And it was the first like new rock, or I wouldn't even call it emo, but you know what I'm saying, like that like alternative or something. I was like, okay, this is taking what I thought rock and roll was and turning it into something new. And from there, that's what became my love for like playing in bands that really like opened that up. And then, yeah, and then just finding different keyboards, like you said, Welcome to the Black Parade. Like that album that's my album. That's true to my heart. I love that album.
I love that album so much. It's easily in my top 3 favorite albums of all time. And honestly, it reminds, yeah, top 3 for real. I love that fucking album. It reminds me a lot, like that album reminds me of like a new aged, at the time, like a new aged emo Queen.
Yes. Okay. Can we please just talk about the Black Parade?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll just do the whole podcast on that.
All right. No more subjects. Only this is a Black Parade. Fuck. The Black Parade is so amazing. I mean, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge came out, and it was amazing. I loved that album. Okay. And they came out. The following album they came out with was so insane and so epic, and I could not believe that it was something that was real. I remember watching that music video 10 times in a row. I couldn't believe that was something that could happen. And it has honestly defined like what I'm trying to capture as an artist. Like, I love the epic parade, like confetti, marching, whatever that is, I'm really trying to go for. And like you said, Queen, there's something about epic is so cliche. It's overused, you know?
Yeah.
But there's something about big. I like big. I'm not there yet, but I want to make big. Like I want big, you know?
I know exactly what you're talking about when you say big, man. Like that's something that I like focus on more and more these days whenever I'm producing. It's just like, all right, how can I make this sound big? But yeah, they nailed that, man. I love how much sass Gerard Wade brought to the fucking table, dude. Yes. He just had so much sass and just so much character. Such a unique guy. It was more than just a singer. He was just an energy. He was a vibe, you know?
He was, and he really he was like, there's something too about the difference between 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge into Black Parade is that he's like, all right, I'm going to make a new character. And he dyed his hair white. But like, it's kind of like the David Bowie thing. It's just like, all right, end of that era. Here's the new era. It's just, you know, you don't see that very much these days. It's not even like people that don't do that are bad. It's just like, I like that. I like that. Cut that off. Here's the new thing, you know?
Yeah, it was like a story. It was a vibe in itself. But yeah, it's like with every new project, you got like a new version of the band. Which, like honestly, I'll agree with what you said. You really don't see that much more these days. I will say someone that has done that recently and did a good job of it was Machine Gun Kelly. Like, whenever he just came out with his pop punk album, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I was like, this is so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, but I know what he did.
Produced by Travis Barker, so it's like
really.
Yeah, it's fucking phenomenal. Like, if you were ever into pop punk, Blink-182, I mean, you obviously were. So like, you go listen to the album, and Travis Barker's drumming on the whole thing. He produced the entire album, and it's fucking incredible. It's just like pop punk's back, and I'm hearing that sound come back more and more in pop music. You know what I mean? Hearing stuff like that on the radio. You know what I mean? Millennium collabing with fucking Tom DeLonge. You know what I mean? It's like Marshmello collabing with A Day to Remember. It's like, cool. That's a sound that I have never, ever, ever fell out of love with. For years, I've listened to these bands, continued it going, and to see it kind of get refreshed and renewed and just getting there again. Oh, dude, it's such an exciting time for music.
It is. I don't really understand why it even went away. There was nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? I can't believe that. People will say that, like, why did like rock and roll, like Zeppelin's style, die if it was so good? But like, that would fit. People would love that if that was still going today.
Well, think about it. Today. Yeah, I mean, like, my dad still listens to Zeppelin and Skinner. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, those bands that you fell in love with years and years ago, he's still listening to those fucking bands. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I think one of the reasons why that sound is coming back in the way that it is because hip-hop kind of hit an emo stride, okay, where you had, like, Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, R.I.P. to both those guys, right? But, like, I remember my little cousin was showing me Juice WRLD, like, 2 years ago, right? and he was like all hyped up about this guy Juice WRLD. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I didn't fuck with like that new age rap shit because it was all like mumble shit to me. I'm not a hater. There's some that it has. If it's fun, it's fun. If it's had a time and place, it had a time and place. But I'm not gonna sit there and listen to it. And he's like, no, bro, you got to hear this. Shows me Juice WRLD. It's like this emo rap, and I'm like, oh shit, this is like what I was listening to in high school, but like hip hop instead of rock. You know what I mean? It's like the same vibe, same type of like even singing like melodies and stuff like that. This is the same thing, and that got super popular. So I like to think because of that, because of like the new age hip hop kind of going through an emo stride, that it's kind of coming back to those bands that where kids are like, oh shit, this is like the same thing that I listen to, but with a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually heard somebody say like Millennium is like the emo kids like growing up, and they're like, what's the next thing? It's Millennium.
Millennium, yep. Yeah, that's true, man. Fucking, he's got some sad songs, but I'll listen to him, man. He does a good job of making that big sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah, epic. I hate saying epic, but it's epic.
It is epic, man. All these producers who are elitists who are like, fuck all that cheesy shit. I'm like, you know how hard it is to write like a really good cheesy song? It's not the easiest thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's not an easy thing to do, man.
It really isn't. And if you go ahead and try to write some like heartfelt lyrics and not sound cheesy.
Yeah.
You know, like I was lost the other day. It's like you're just like, you like cringe at your own lyrics, but like there's a way to make it work, you know?
Yeah, if it comes from a place. But no, I'm glad that we could just vibe on that real quick, man. The Black Parade and shit, and just emo music. Hell yeah, dude. So back to the pianist talk. All right. It was just hilarious, right?
Yes.
Going from being this classically trained guy, playing in bands, finding electronic music, and realizing you can do this, how hard was it going from a piano to a computer to produce it, to make it sound good, to mix it down, to just learn a program? Was that nothing compared to like the act of learning how to actually play the piano? Or like, what was that like for you?
I think producing, I use Logic. And I think producing is harder than piano, for sure.
Yeah.
Piano is a lot. There is some like, okay, throw your own style into it, but piano is a lot of muscle memory. If I practice my scales enough, okay, so say I had to learn a super hard piece, I would go, okay, say I had to learn a super hard piece. This is like, I'm just thinking for college. I had to learn a super hard piece in 6 months. I can break it down and be like, learn this measure. So there's 600 measures, and I have 6 months. You know what I mean? So like, okay, learn this much per day, and it was like, okay, all I have to do is like learn this, and then I could work my way through it. And there was nothing that I didn't know. It just took muscle memory. Whereas producing is like phasers and compression and just the fact that they're EQing something, you know what I mean? Like, and that doesn't even get into like different VSTs and everything. There's so much that if you don't know it, you don't know it. I know what notes are on a, staff. It's just a matter of getting good at playing it. Whereas like, if you don't know how to use Logic or Ableton, then you don't know how to use it. You know what I mean? Like I could probably learn any piano piece given enough time, but I can't stare at Ableton and learn it. And that's why I really think it's harder than learning any instrument, because it's like sciencey. You know what I mean? No,
I totally agree, man. I've said the same thing. Like, I've been a drummer my whole life, and I've said like I've spent I've been a drummer my whole life, but I've spent way more hours producing, and I've only been a producer for like 6 years, right? But if I would have spent 12 hours a day on a drum kit, which is, if you can do that, holy fucking shit. But
yes.
That's what you have to do as a producer in order to learn it, to get good, to figure it out. And if I would have did that as a drummer like I did as a producer, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fuck. That's all I really have to say. It's just like,
Yeah.
my wrists would be huge, dude. Like, they would be massive.
I know that it sucks too, because with a piano you're given the keys and like you're told what keys you use, or you know what keys to use, but it's like there's no one telling you to apply reverb or not apply reverb. And should I put reverb on this? You know what I mean? And like, all right, I'll put it on. Okay, I put it on. All right, let me make a song. Maybe the reverb doesn't sound good. I'm going to take it off. Well, now it takes this part and makes it sound, you know, and it's just like back and forth so much. It's mad. Producing is maddening for me because it's so, although I've been doing it for 5 years, it still feels so new. There's some, I really am like, it's humbling because I can't, there's something about, okay, I'll change this part and it affects this part. Okay, so I'll change that part and it affects this part. And I'm learning to just like lay things down, which is so different than an instrument, which is like, learn that measure, learn that measure, learn that measure. You know what I mean? Everything affects the thing before it. And there's a flow to making it. There's energy worth the build up, the drop. You know what I mean? It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah, man. I totally agree, dude. I can only imagine. So like with me, it transferred over a little bit better because I was a drummer, right? And a lot of producing is just making cool beats and then just like learning how to make that sound good. Being a piano player, I'm sure that transferred over as well because the electronic music you fell in love with were like melody driven, you know, and so you can write the melodies all day. How did it have do you feel like you had a head start on producing? Like just because you had spent so many years as a pianist, so you're just like, maybe a little. Like, do you feel like it helped out a bunch?
Yeah, melodically, yes. I can spit out the melodic part of a track in a few hours. Here's my chords. Here's the melody. Like I can play something on piano that I like, and then I can take that MIDI and throw it into a synth, into a bass, into all the chords laid out, ready to rock. All right, time to EQ it. All right, why doesn't that synth needs to be cut off? You know what I mean? Like all this, there's 1,000 pieces that need to be applied to each layer, like to make it really. I mean, you could put out something, you know, but like I'm trying to make it sound like, you know, a quality electronic track. And that takes so much knowledge to compete's the wrong word, but like to make it sound up to par with what you hear with some of these top tier producers, is that their mixes and the effects they apply are like, these guys are geniuses, you know? It's like you can't just throw some chords down with a melody on top and throw a drum loop on it. You really need to make it, you know, lock in. But the melodic part, I have that down pat. It's like, all right, time to find a good snare. And that's just like, you know, throws me off.
Right, yeah, out of your fucking comfort zone, which is fun.
It
man.
is.
Yeah.
I guess fun's the word. I was so ready to take over though. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, electronic, I can do piano music. I should be able to do this. But it's like, all right, try to make that kick and snare sound good around those chords. It's like, it really humbles you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I bet you can fucking shred the piano, dog. I bet you can just fucking play all day, can't you?
I can, yes, I can, but like that's not enough. People, it's got to pop.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to hear just chords.
How much do you practice these days? Like, you know, do you I'm sure you spend more time on the production side because I feel like you have to. But like, what's your practicing like? Do you still practice every day?
I really don't. I really don't practice. No, I guess my practice is production, like using Logic and finding out how to be better at that. It takes me forever to make it. I have 4 original tracks out. I mean, I've made so many remixes, and the reason I have so many remixes is because the things are laid out. And I've gotten the stems to them, and I have the drum track. even for Bookworm, I was like, give me the stems. I want the drums, you know what I mean? So I can play on top of it. I don't want to pick the drum pattern. I don't want to EQ the snare. Like I need that track so I can play on it.
So I can jam.
Yeah, so because when it's up to me to start from scratch, then I can't make that sub. I can't make that grittiness. You know what I mean? I need to jam on a track already laid out.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show. Just because, there's, I don't know, there's like Haywire and there's you. And that's really about all I can think of. There's just like these piano player, live producer, DJ guys. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's a lot more. You have like Porter Robinson and stuff like that. But like, you guys are taking it, I mean, I haven't seen one of your live shows, but I've seen videos and stuff, but I've seen Haywire before, and that motherfucker's shredding live, you know what I mean?
Yes.
He's just shredding the fucking thing. And it's like such a tight-knit group, and you're doing it in such a fun, fresh, new sound wave, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the new sound and then the live skill with it, right? And then you're posting these videos and you're like having fun. It's like you're jamming, people are vibing with it. I'm like, yes, that's a fucking vibe. I want to have that guy on the show, right? So to tie that all together with just the live stuff, I've been seeing you've been getting live shows and stuff like that. How big of a bitch is it to set all that up for a live show and a live DJ set, but you're playing the piano? Because I did live drums for a little bit in my DJ set for probably about a year, and I was like, all right, that's too big of a pain in the ass. I'm not doing it anymore. But this is a little different. What goes into just like setting up a live set? Like, you just kind of run that down for me, man.
It's a nightmare. It's terrible. I have to, in order to even to do these shows, I had to customize a case that held my keyboards to fly to shows, to even get the keyboards there. And then when I get the keyboards there, they have a DJ table. They're like, we're gonna put, it's figuring out where to put me on stage with the DJ table. Like, no, I need my keyboards so people can see me. So then there's that. So then I set up my keyboards. Right now, I'm figuring out how to get my stand there. But right now, I'm renting my 3-tier stand from Guitar Center and returning it to the store after the show, just to keep things moving.
There's a better way to do that. There's a better way to do that.
There is.
Yeah, okay.
I'm figuring it out.
Okay, well,
pretty soon I'm going to be flying this customized 3-tier keyboard. You can't rent a 3-tier keyboard stand.
Oh, really? There's not like a backline company that you could hit up for that?
There's like Guitar Center, and they have one keyboard available, and it's like, no, I need my keyboards with my sounds already set up. I need these 3 brands of these, what I mean? The blue keyboard on top is set up for the show. The middle keyboard, I can't have the instrument changes on a different button because I'm so used to going bam, you know what I mean? It has to be that keyboard. The bottom one is a piano. It has to be weighted keys. Like it can't be like, yeah, whatever you guys got. It has to be what I have and what I've been practicing on. And I have to, so I had to get those to the show. So I have to fly 3 keyboards. All right. Now I have to have a 3-tier keyboard stand, which they can't rent. So, and just recently just got a case built for a 3-tier keyboard stand. And that's what I'll be using from now on. But even then, making sure that the production team knows that I'm not a DJ. Like they're like, what are you using? I won't be behind the table. I need to be in front of it. And I need to like be able to be center stage. So your team's gonna have to move the table back, which is a lot to ask for. And I understand, you know what I mean? Because once they have everything set up, they kind of want to keep it that way. And that's just getting there. And the whole production side of it is so difficult for me because, and it's something I'm currently trying to figure out how to do correctly. I'm playing keyboards on top of tracks, whereas my videos are I'm playing through a DAW through Logic. And when I play through Logic, I can sidechain and I can apply the right effects to make it sound clean. But my live shows, I'm playing on top of tracks, which sounds a little different than a mastered track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the basses aren't like ducking behind the kicks. And I'm trying to figure out how to sidechain to just the kicks for my keyboards.
You know how you're gonna do that, man? You're gonna have to use Ableton.
I know that sucks. I love Logic.
Yeah, well, everything you've been explaining right here, I'm like, you can do all that in Ableton. It's such a great. All people who do like live performance or like live any type of like planned live thing. I'm saying about 95% of the time that's routed through Ableton. You know, even bands like you know, it's you know, you don't have to produce in there. You can still produce in Logic, but dude, the things that you can do live inside of Ableton, like that's gonna be the answer for you, man.
I know. I was afraid my computer would crash through running audio and side chaining through my Mac. So that's why I kind of kept it simple. But you know, I saw Jansen, and he had this Ableton setup that was 1,000 layers.
Yep. Yeah, he's got.
And he was making it. I looked at it, and it looked like the Matrix. It was all falling down, and maybe he had a juiced up Mac, but it had no problem running exactly what he wanted to do, and he killed it.
Well, I think I don't know if he got a new Mac, but I know there was a time for a little bit where like it shut down on him a couple times, but it might have just been like something that he could fix. But yeah, man, I mean, even just like an Ableton compressor sidechain, like if you're using internal plugins and not external plugins, you're not using that much CPU. So you know what I mean? So like maybe you could put, instead of using the synth or like on your keyboards, are you running the synths? Are you using like synths from Logic, or are you using the synths from your keyboard?
Okay, so like the bottom keyboard is always piano, and that's like my little special touch. It's like it's always piano. So it's like that's just straight audio from that Yamaha piano. Yeah. And that's like I want that to stay piano because I like piano solos. The middle keyboard is always MIDI, and that's like the magical bass hits. That's the weird stuff. That's running to a program called MainStage, which is also made by Apple, and it looks like Logic. It's pretty much the same like family as Logic, and I'm able to change to any sound I want. Like I can change the Serum presets, massive. You know what I mean? That is like where those weird EDM sounds come from. And the blue keyboard on top is just straight audio, and it's my pad strings. It's got some cool like flutes, you know, like just like what you would expect on a Yamaha keyboard. Like if I need to throw like a electronic, like a Rhodes piano on top of a track, I'm not going to make it in Serum. I'm going to use that top one. But like if the drop is coming and I want something heavy, I'm using the middle one. Yeah,
dude, Ableton can handle all that, no problem. Only one of them's using MIDI, and you could probably set a lot of that up with the sampler instead of actually using like the synth or whatever. Like if you're just doing like bass one shots, throw it in a sampler, oh my god, you're gonna be using like no CPU at all, dude. You're gonna have to just quit being this Logic elitist, okay, and come over to the dark side, daddy. Okay.
It is so dark, man. You know what? You know, it's really frustrating is that it took so long to learn Logic, and I could have started out with Ableton, but it's like, okay, I have a MacBook, Logic, and I just went with it. But it's like, okay, I now have to relearn Ableton. That's what kept me from doing it.
Oh, bro, it's easy to learn, man. The reason why Ableton's so popular is because it's straight. The workflow is straight in your face. It's easy to get, especially with Ableton 11, the new version. It's fucking insane. I had somebody tell me that like a couple weeks ago. They were like, man, I feel like producing is so hard. I'm like, it used to be. I feel like it used to be. You know, you can learn the programs pretty easy now, especially like with Ableton newest updates. It's like the workflow is just right in your face. Everything's just so easy to understand now. I mean,
I have a question though. Like, what is that? What is that like vertical, like up and down view?
It's automation.
I like to watch my line go across.
You can if you want. I mean, you can turn that off. You just click a button. You don't have to see any lines. But that's automation, dude. So if you want to automate a filter opening up or automate anything, that's the great thing.
There's different channels. It's like channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and you don't even see the song go across.
You can. It's easy, dude. I can show you sometime, dude.
Okay.
It's real easy to understand. It's like literally just like it's just those lines are just automation lines. Then you have your main track above it, and all the lanes under it are automation lanes. This is the most nerdiest podcast I think we might have ever done.
Hey, I wish I wore my glasses.
Man, fucking doing your live show is a pain in the ass. Okay, we said that. We obviously know that you got to move over to the Abletons. That's a must coming. You know what I mean? That's just delaying the inevitable, dude.
I got it.
So, have you ran into any issues where like your keyboards didn't show up to the airport?
No, not yet. And I found the best airline to travel is Southwest. We'll fly my case for $75. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yes.
That is amazing, dude. Yeah, I saw you had a show recently with Cofressi, wasn't it?
Yeah, here in Louisville.
That's like a perfect fucking combination because y'all are both just doing the live shows, man.
Yeah, it really is. And it attracts the crowd that wants to watch live instruments on top of trappy, fun beats.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's like the crowd reaction from whenever you're doing stuff like this? Because in my experience, whenever I was doing my live drumming stuff, I remember there's just times where people don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm not able to mix quick. Because I was doing live drum and mixing. Like I had the drums completely taken out of like these tracks that I was playing, and if I missed a pad, there was just no drum playing. And so like they're long mixes. I'm playing the whole songs, and I realized the energy was low. People stopped giving a fuck at some point. What's it like from your perspective? How are people vibing with it? Because I know whenever I've seen like Haywire, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like people are vibing with it big time. Totally different vibe. But how are people reacting to it?
I'm like Haywire is attracting his crowd, and his crowd is coming to see keyboards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because he's a huge name, and he's got a huge audience. And like I'm trying to make a name for myself, and I am a lot of the times opening up for acts that are not live instrument. Like I'm opening up for a lot of like dubstep acts, and the people have come to headbang. And I'm about to play piano solos, which is really, really weird. But they get it after like 3 or 4 songs. If I can, which I didn't get at first, but recently I'm starting to like, it's like you like coax them into this like, all right, you know that song? All right, now I'm going to play it on keyboards. It's kind of different if it's, like the Cofresci show I did was awesome because people were like, people that come to see, they know what they're coming to see. I played a show with Marvel Years Saturday, and it really popped off. I played Furry Release, but it was
the Comus remix.
Yes. Which is amazing. And he gave me the stems too, and I was able to sample and pick apart all the hits to put on my keyboards. And that, I'm realizing that is the track I think I need to open with because it makes people go, okay, you know what I mean? Like they're like, okay, he's doing something on the piano. I know what a piano is. And then it turns from piano, and then I go, wah, 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 with bass sounds. And like, okay, he's a pianist, but for bass sounds. And it's like a basic, like, okay, you're here, now we need to take you here. Like that song really, and that is the hypest track of the night. I was like, oh, this is like what makes people like get it. Mm-hmm. It's like I need to tell the audience what's happening. It's like, because otherwise they're only here to listen. Because when they're coming to see a DJ, they're there to listen. They're not really there to watch. You know, they like to see the guy into it. But it's just like, I need you guys to like watch. And that track really brings it together.
Yeah, that's just Comus, man. He does a really good job of just making a lot of really good fucking music. That's also my best friend, so that's awesome, man. Yeah, I played that track in my set the other night, and it always smacks. Always smacks.
It does. People, when it starts off and people hear that, it's funny though because in my mind I'm like, you like stereotype like the bass crowd. You stereotype them as like, okay, they only like, I have to play hard bass music. This is a crowd that subtronics. Like Excision. These people love these heavy bass tracks. I need to, and you're thinking about these heavy artists and things that you need to cover. And then you play something from classical music and they go crazy. Yeah. It's like, okay, maybe I'm underestimating my audience.
Yeah, for sure, man. I've been playing a lot of ass-eating music, so like that's been really cool to see a bunch of bass heads trying
What's
to watch.
That?
Oh, dude. Oh, bring that fat ass over here. I want to get it in my mouth. Want to get it in my mouth. Oh. So.
Do you sing it too?
No, fuck no. That's not me. It's not my track. It's Work That Ass for Daddy by Mark Rebier, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so, people, these books are open, bro. They're open.
They're open to everything.
They're open like some cheeks, dog. You feel me?
I do.
Well, man, this has been cool, dude. I appreciate you coming on the show today, dude.
Yes, sir.
I really appreciate you. I'm a fan of what you do. I think you're doing really cool stuff. I think you're going to continue to do really cool stuff. And I'm looking forward to watching it, and I hope our paths cross more. Before you go, what's next for Mr. Jason Leech? What you want the people to know? What's coming next?
Big tracks dropping. Track with Lucid on Friday. I think this podcast is airing the day before.
Yeah, so tomorrow, technically.
This Friday, track with Lucid. And also on this Friday, track with Closey. Super excited about that.
Damn.
Both on the same day.
Wow. Scheduling issues, huh? But yeah, dude.
It's gotta happen.
It's gotta happen. I mean, that's some big names, dude. That's fucking awesome. Congrats, dude. I'm a huge,
thank you, man.
Massive fan of Closey, and Lucid can have my children. So.
Absolutely. Hey, man, and you're gonna be you're doing an Interstellar after party. I'm playing at Interstellar, so we'll have to link up.
Well, come to the party, bro. I'll be at the festival too that day, just having a good time. But yeah, come to the after party. Let's hang out.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Rock and roll, brother. All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you, dude. And you have a good one. Jason Leech, everybody.
Hey, nice talking to you, brother.
Peace. Now's Mr. Jason. What a cool cat. What a nice guy. Appreciate him coming on the show. Appreciate y'all listening this week, man. Hope y'all are doing good out there. Hope you continue to do good out there. And you know what I'm saying? Just do what you want to do, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just do what you want to do. And if the haters don't like it, dude, they can go fuck themselves, dude. For real. Just go do what you want to do and be happy while doing it. Because if you're not doing that, then what's the fucking point, y'all? I appreciate y'all being here, man. I'll see y'all next week for another episode of Talks with TVBOO. Love y'all. Peace.